Welcome back to Respoiled. Today, I'll present an action comedy horror film from 2015, titled, I Am a Hero. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hideo Suzuki, an assistant manga artist, sketches with his colleagues in an office, tuned into the news. A reporter narrates an incident where a dog viciously attacked a 45-year-old woman, leaving her incoherent. The police are baffled by her nonsensical account. The news shifts to a 35-year-old man arrested for lewd behavior. Colleagues notice the odd news trend, and Mitani jests about Suzuki and manga artists. Suzuki defends manga as the epitome of Japanese culture, motivating his co-workers to chant, "Manga is the best." Night falls, and Suzuki returns home to watch TV with Teko, his passive-aggressive girlfriend, while sketching. He glances at his manga award and motivational quotes like, "The Steve Jobs of manga," and "The road to manga is harsh." Seeking inspiration, Suzuki retrieves a rifle from his cupboard and reflects in the mirror. The next morning, illness pervades the publisher's office as Suzuki presents his new manga featuring a macho protector armed with a rifle. The publisher disapproves, deeming the protagonist too mundane, urging Suzuki to improve. Sensei, a renowned manga artist, encounters Suzuki, who once shared a newcomer award with him 15 years ago. Later in his apartment, Suzuki engages in a heated argument with Teko, who insists on selling the rifle to pay rent, along with his award and manga books. Fed up with Suzuki's failures and unmet aspirations, Teko ends their relationship in a fit of rage, ejecting him from the apartment. Suzuki retreats to the park with his gun, engrossed in Sensei's comic book. Nearby, a homeless man trembles in apparent distress, but Suzuki remains oblivious. The following morning, Suzuki joins his co-workers in the office, sketching and watching the news. Reports emerge of a new infection claiming 4 lives already. A sweating colleague, feeling unwell, departs, revealing she contracted the virus from Sensei. Mitani discloses the affair between her and Sensei, noting matching bite marks. As their boss enters, sporting a bite mark, the group puzzles over the situation, unaware of his ominous transformation. Later, asleep in the office, Suzuki's phone abruptly rings, Teko, apologizing and seeking reconciliation. Helicopters swarm the city as Suzuki, absorbed in the call, overlooks the commotion. He rushes to Teko's flat, bearing her favorite snack, pleading for entry. Receiving no response, he peers through the letter slot, witnessing Teko convulsing unnaturally, resembling a demon during an exorcism. As she nears the door, Suzuki witnesses Teko's disfigured face. Zombie Teko lunges at Suzuki, sinking her teeth into his hand. In a frantic attempt to escape, he inadvertently impales her head and flees the apartment hastily. Crossing the bridge, he spots a woman with a bleeding hand and a fleet of airplanes soaring overhead. Returning to the office, Suzuki finds Mitani by the TV, initially mistaking him for a zombie until he notices the bloody baseball bat in Mitani's grasp. Stealthily entering the office, he discovers his co-workers transformed into zombies, with Mitani as the lone survivor. Mitani reveals the only way to dispatch zombies is by destroying their brains and warns Suzuki of the infection through bites. However, Suzuki learns Mitani is also bitten and witnesses his transformation, culminating in Mitani's self-inflicted demise, heralding the reign of underpaid workers in the era of the undead. Another infected co-worker arrives, prompting Suzuki's swift departure from the office. In the streets, oblivious individuals walk casually amidst the chaos, while others sprint in terror. Soon, the demonic zombies amidst the crowd become evident, triggering panic. Suzuki, desperate, approaches a police officer, only to realize the officer is also a zombie, giving chase. Fleeing in terror, Suzuki inadvertently tramples a large group of people fleeing in one direction. Cars collide with each other, city buildings ablaze, and people crushed by ambulances. Amidst the chaos, Suzuki spots a cab driver napping in his taxi, oblivious to the unfolding apocalypse. Before entering, Hiromi, a high school student, approaches. She intends to share the taxi, but they're ambushed by a zombie engrossed in a phone call. Suzuki envisions himself wielding his rifle, frozen in a finger-shooting stance. Meanwhile, a man in a suit vies for their taxi. Amid window banging, they secure the cab, urging the driver toward the countryside. On the taxi TV, news depicts the chaos as riots, lacking explanations. Switching to Tokyo TV, they find an anime broadcast, initially suggesting Tokyo's safety until the channel shifts to report the onslaught. As they watch, the businessman, conversing on the phone, orders ruthless measures, even against the Prime Minister. Revealing a bite, his veins darken as he transforms, lamenting the poor and requesting a tissue. Oblivious, the driver complies, and the new zombie bites him, deriding the quality of poor people's flesh. Suzuki ejects the zombie, providing temporary relief until the driver's veins blacken, recounting his impeccable 30-year taxi career. Then, he becomes angry and drives recklessly. Hiromi moves to the back seat, a fortunate decision as the taxi driver soon turns hostile. Suzuki and Hiromi buckle up due to the high speed. Eventually, they collide with another car and begin to tumble. Upon waking, Suzuki finds the car overturned, but Hiromi survives. Exiting the vehicle, they encounter a road blocked by a massive car pileup. Deserted cars litter the road, and the duo settles on the sidewalk, scouring the internet for information. They learn about the virus called ZQN, its corrupting effects on the infected, causing bodily distortions. A theory suggests the virus may perish atop Mount Fuji, just before the phone dies. Night falls, and they find refuge in an abandoned house. Over melon bread, Suzuki bought for Teko, they discuss his rifle. He refrained from using it as brandishing a rifle publicly is illegal, he regards it as a protective talisman. Hiromi reveals her protection charm, her earphones. They listen to music, and she confides in Suzuki, feeling safe with him. The next morning, Suzuki watches her sleep, acknowledging his feelings despite her underage status. Yet, he notices a bite mark on her neck, prompting him to retrieve his rifle for protection. Hiromi discloses being bitten by her neighbor's baby, potentially infected through breast milk. Unfazed by the prospect of death, she accepts Suzuki's protection, unaware he's also been bitten. Vowing to safeguard her until Mount Fuji, they embark on their daunting journey, traversing a forest where Hiromi's condition deteriorates. She implores Suzuki to leave her as she fears harming him. As a parting gesture, she gifts him the earphones for luck and urges him to depart as she begins to transform. Suzuki dashes through the forest and spots a distant figure, but upon approach, realizes it's another zombie. The creature lunges at Suzuki, nearing his face when Hiromi suddenly appears, dispatches the zombie, and rescues Suzuki. Despite her partially transformed state, Hiromi surgically removes the zombie's remains without harming Suzuki, assisting him to his feet. Soon after, Suzuki and Hiromi rest near a trailer park, scavenging for canned goods. Though Hiromi, now partially zombified, remains silent, displaying certain undead traits, she poses no threat to Suzuki, and they press on towards Mount Fuji together. Days later, Suzuki, sporting a full beard, carries Hiromi on his back as they encounter a shopping cart along the forest path. Though food eludes them, Suzuki seats Hiromi in the cart and heads towards Fuji Outlet Park. Upon arrival, they find the outlet deserted. While trying on jackets, Suzuki faces an attack from the zombified store manager. With Hiromi asleep, unable to assist, a masked woman named Tsugumi Oda intervenes, wielding an axe to dispatch the zombie. As she examines the slumbering Hiromi, other masked individuals arrive, questioning the newcomers. As more zombies emerge, the group flees towards safety. All the uninfected people have constructed a safe zone on the outlet's rooftop. Suzuki receives an invitation to join and brings Hiromi along, concealing her half-zombie condition. The safe zone boasts ample supplies, including food, tents, books, and Rolex watches. Tsugumi expresses interest in Suzuki's rifle, but he modestly reveals he's just a manga artist. She assumes quiet Hiromi is his sister, and Suzuki clarifies they met while fleeing zombies. Tsugumi warms up to Suzuki, considering him a good person, and discusses how those infected with ZQN dwell in the past. In the morning, Suzuki observes Hiromi, wondering if she comprehends him. Her smile suggests she might. He then shares a poem with her, noticing her improvement. Later, Suzuki witnesses a zombie running and jumping high, bumping its head on the ground. Old Man Abe explains how zombies mimic past behaviors, each being unique. When Suzuki inquires about charcoal-like zombies sitting on the ground, Abe evades the question, hinting at an unsettling incident in the safe zone. Suzuki attends a survivors' meeting, where they plan to access underground food storage. They demand Suzuki surrender his rifle, citing the absence of laws in the safe zone. Leader Yura threatens Hiromi's life if Suzuki refuses. Meanwhile, some survivors attempt to seize Hiromi, prompting Sugumi to intervene. Suspicious, Suzuki abruptly leaves the meeting and discovers Hiromi's captivity. He threatens to shoot Yura with the rifle if they don't release Hiromi. The leader then aims a gun at Hiromi, who stands silently. No one suspects she can eliminate them instantly. However, she can't endure it any longer, so she effortlessly tosses the two men aside and reveals she's a ZQN. As a half-zombie, her eye is not black but has rainbow colors. The leader disregards this and shoots her in the head, causing Hiromi to collapse. They confiscate Suzuki's rifle as he grieves over the girl's death. They proceed to assault Suzuki while he pleads for mercy. Soon, they quarrel over who will execute him. Even humans seem to crave blood. Chaos erupts, and someone else topples Yura. They spare Suzuki's life, and he finds Sugami by Hiromi's tent. With Abe's assistance, she concealed Hiromi, who remains alive. Sugami elucidates how Hiromi differs from other ZQNs since she has a pulse. She recounts fleeing from her responsibilities and leaving patients at the hospital, praising Suzuki for saving Hiromi. Suzuki laments his inability to pull the trigger on Yura and the loss of his gun, feeling like a coward and loser. Sugami reassures him that he's a good person. Suzuki apologizes for his perceived lack of qualities and entrusts Hiromi to Sugami's care, explaining he must accompany the others to the food storage. Later, some survivors create noise to draw zombies' attention to the roof, while others head to the underground food storage. Upon arrival, they find darkness, and someone accidentally makes noise. While walking, someone switches on the lights, but no one questions it. They promptly locate the storage, unaware that someone is observing them through the security camera. As they pack food, the mysterious observer activates music in the outlet, attracting a zombie that attacks a survivor, seeking a snack. They shoot both the victim and the zombie, but discover the parking lot swarming with other zombies. Suzuki, lagging behind, apologizes to a person being devoured. Due to poor tactics and survivors' selfishness, most fall victim to the zombies in the parking lot. Yura, the instigator, intentionally triggered the music to lure zombies, aiming to seize the Soul car. Amid the chaos, Suzuki hides in a storage locker while the high-jumping zombie prepares for a leap from the roof. He dashes and leaps onto a tent, catching the attention of a survivor who freezes. The zombie devours her and promptly attacks another woman, crushing her head. Yura, examining security tapes, grants access to more zombies by entering a passkey. Suzuki, still concealed, overhears on a walkie-talkie that a zombie has slain nearly everyone on the rooftop. Sugami, terrified on the roof with Hiromi, urgently seeks help via walkie-talkie, receiving no response as others are either hiding or being consumed. Suzuki remains concealed in the locker, envisioning escape and combat scenarios against the surrounding zombies, but in each imagined scenario, he meets his demise. Overwhelmed by fear and imagination, he opts to remain in the locker until he hears Sugami crying on the walkie-talkie, evoking thoughts of Hiromi. Determined to overcome his fear, he vocally asserts himself and exits the locker. Suzuki immediately encounters a zombie that bites him, yet his 10 Rolex watches on his wrist prevent infection. Taking the walkie-talkie, he assures Sugami of his imminent arrival. They agree to rendezvous at the parking lot and take one of the cars. While Suzuki employs clever tactics against the zombies, such as scattering rice to make them slip, Sugami carries Hiromi toward the parking lot. On arrival, they encounter Yura, who expresses romantic intentions toward Sugami and abandons Suzuki. However, Yura succumbs to infection and swiftly turns into a zombie. Sugami flees with Hiromi, but Suzuki arrives, dispatches Yura, and saves them. They encounter a large group of zombies chasing Abe. Surrounded, Hiromi speaks for the first time, expressing comfort with Suzuki. Motivated, Suzuki engages in combat, saving Suzuki and Sugami. They eliminate all the zombies except the high-jumping athlete zombie on the roof. With one bullet remaining, Suzuki dispatches the zombie. Despite the bullet's ineffectiveness, he defeats the zombie using the rifle as a bat. The trio exits the outlet, surrounded by slain zombies. In the car, Sugami lights a cigarette and plays music while Suzuki ponders the possibility of turning into a zombie, still reluctant to accept his heroism. Don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications for more content like this. Thank you for watching.